Under the golden floodlights of Kolkata at the Salt Lake Stadium, the Beighton Cup gave us a night that will echo for years. Indian Air Force looked unstoppable. Four goals they had scored. They were 3-0 up and ahead in the game, cruising, commanding, certain of victory. But sport, like life, has its own poetry. And Jharkhand 11 decided to ride theirs with courage and with fearlessness. What we watched today was the resilience, was the grit and the determination of Jharkhand 11, from despair to destiny, from 1-4, from 0-3 to finally having a say in the game. This was the first goal, of course, scored by Vinayak Hande, who had eventually scored a hat trick in the game. He was absolutely ruthless in front of the goal, absolutely pumping the goals with conviction, and he had a fabulous game in store for everybody of all of us. And Indian Air Force flexed their dominant muscles right throughout. At a time it felt like they would be winning by a huge margin. They'll be winning by a margin of say 6 to 7 goals, but fate had something else written for them. Jharkhand skipper Joseph Topno led like a warrior from another era, his stick slicing through time, his belief reigniting a generation. And that is what we witnessed. Back to back goals from Indian Air Force, but it didn't deter the spirit, it didn't deter the skills of the entire Jharkhand 11 team. One goal, then another, and suddenly the impossible began to breathe. The turf turned electric at the iconic Salt Lake Stadium. The crowd found its voice, especially for Jharkhand 11, and Kolkata felt that old Beighton magic again. You know, the old Beighton magic back in the 1950s, the 1960s, when the likes of Gurboxing, when the likes of Major Dhyanchand, Dr. Vaispace, all of that, the later Dr. Vaispace, all of them used to play. It was an absolute fabulous game that we witnessed. Back-to-back opportunities for Jharkhand 11, but it was, a tail stalemate. It was a draw that we eventually witnessed for both Indian Air Force and Jharkhand 11. A game that will go down history as one of the most remarkable games, one of the most remarkable comeback stories from Jharkhand 11. They were absolutely unerring in their direction finding. They did extremely well in front of the goal, and that was visible in all the shots that they had made. The moment they were 3-1, Indian Air Force pumped another goal here. There you can see another goal here, the fourth goal that came in, and once they were 4-1, it seemed like the inevitable was on the wall. The writing was on the wall, but Jharkhand 11 had a separate plan altogether. They staged a comeback that will go down as one of the finest comebacks ever in the history of the Beighton Cup. There have been 126 editions, and the way they played, the way they cemented all the position, it was a fairy tale. Even a fairy tale would be an understatement for the kind of poetry in motion that we've witnessed today. Back to back goals, and nothing that could separate them here. That was Jharkhand 11 all throughout. There were combination of field goals, combination of penalty corners, and it was their captain Joseph Topno who did extremely well. And the best thing that they did was they utilized the penalty corners really well. Like they say, penalty corners are something that you really need to do properly, and that is what they had done properly. The penalty corners, they had made sure that they take advantage of it. There were plenty of opportunities for Indian Air Force, but it was this was an opportunity. I kept telling when the score was 4-3, it clipped the foot of one of the Indian Air Force players, but they failed to take advantage. Failed to take advantage. And this was that fourth goal that had grit, determination, and destiny written all over it. Today, history painted a completely different story. History painted a completely different chapter for Hockey Bengal, because this game will go down the wire as an incredibly resilient filled game. Full time score Indian Air Force 4, Jharkhand 11 4.